Imagine, like, scoring 976 professional goals.
I mean, it's a completely absurd number.
Right. Imagine dedicating 22 years of your life to just absolute monastic physical perfection.
Yeah.
You've broken every record, you've defied every biological limitation, and you've basically cemented yourself as a living god in your profession.
You're untouchable.
Exactly. And then it's July 2026, and you find yourself staring at the turf, suddenly realizing that while a 20-something kid on the opposing team is simply running faster than you.
The calendar finally caught up.
It always does. The calendar has finally caught you. So today, we are wading into the brutal, unforgiving math of the golden generation.
It's such a heavy concept, honestly.
It really is. We're unpacking that heavy, heavy weight of expectations, the chaotic reality of this ongoing 2026 World Cup, and, the profound psychological profile of Cristiano Ronaldo as his legendary career reaches its final sort of stoic chapter.
Yeah, it really is this fascinating collision of sociology and biomechanics.
Oh, for sure.
We're looking at what happens when human beings are placed under this intense pressure cooker of national identity, right?
Great.
And how one individual's desperate, almost singular obsession with cheating time can actually rewire the tactical landscape of an entire sport.
So I want you, the person listening to this deep dive right now, to try and put yourself in a very specific headspace.
Okay, do it.
Have you ever been part of like a massive new hiring class at work?
Oh yeah, like when a bunch of new grads all come in at once.
Exactly. A group of you comes in, maybe straight out of university, and management looks at you and essentially says, this is the group.
Right, like you're the ones.
Yeah, you are going to save this company. You are going to completely revolutionize this industry.
That's a lot of pressure.
Think about that weight. Now, multiply it by a country of 50 million people watching your every single move on global television.
It's suffocating.
That is the reality of being labeled part of a golden generation. But to really understand the twilight of the Ronaldo era, we need to dissect the environment that birthed him. We basically need to tear apart this label.
We do, because the term itself gets tossed around by commentators almost as a reflex now.
Oh, constantly. Every country suddenly has one.
Right. But historically, it carries a very specific, almost mathematical weight.
What do you mean by mathematical weight?
Well, we're talking about an exceptionally gifted cohort of players, born within just a few years of each other.
Okay.
And their sheer concentration of talent forces an expectation of unprecedented dominance.
It's not just a good team, it's a generational anomaly.
Exactly. The label actually gained its modern traction in the media to describe Portugal's youth teams back in 1989 and 1991.
Wow, so it goes back a bit.
Yeah. But when you look at how this plays out in reality across different nations, the label is incredibly volatile.
Because it operates like a massive amplifier, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if things go right, it amplifies that success into a full-blown dynasty.
Precisely. Let's look at the anatomical perfection of Spain's cohort from, say, 2006 to 2014.
Oh, they were unbelievable.
They didn't just win. They literally broke the geometry of how football was played.
Right.
This generation, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, they popularized tiki-taka. And I have to stress, this wasn't just passing for the sake of passing.
Let's break that down, actually, for the listener, because I feel like people use the word tiki-taka like it just means taking a lot of really short passes.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
But it's fundamentally a defensive strategy masquerading as an offensive one, isn't it?
That is the absolute genius of it. The mechanism of tiki-taka relies on creating constant shifting triangles all over the pitch.
Triangles, right.
Right. If you have the ball, you always have at least two immediate passing options. But the real underlying mechanism is cognitive overload for the defender.
Oh, that's fascinating. Cognitive overload.
Yeah, think about it. If Spain passes the ball 30 times in 1 minute, the defending team has to constantly shift their body weight, change their scanning angles, and make micro decisions 30 different times.
Just to track the ball.
Exactly. And eventually, human concentration breaks.
Because one gets tired.
Or they just lose focus for a second. A defender takes half a step in the wrong direction, a passing lane opens up, and Spain scores.
And it won them 2 European championships and a World Cup.
Right. They held the #1 ranking for 6 almost uninterrupted years, right up to 2014.
It's wild.
They proved that if a golden generation shares a single unified tactical brain, they are practically unbeatable.
Yeah, and you look at France from 98 to 2006, they had a very similar resonance.
Oh, Zidane, Henry, Thuram.
Just massive, massive talents. They had this incredible physical dominance paired with supreme technical elements.
They were terrifying to play against.
Right. They win the World Cup in 98, they take the Euros in 2000, and march right back to the final in 2006. So we see the ceiling, we see what the dynasty looks like.
The absolute peak.
But I look at other parts of this research, and I see the exact same label acting as a complete psychological prism.
And this is where the human element just crumbles under this statistical expectation.
Yeah.
Take England's generation from 2001 to 2006.
Oh, boy.
I mean, on a spreadsheet, it is an absurd collection of assets. You've got David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, Michael Owen.
If you were playing a video game, you would literally win every tournament.
Every single one.
But they didn't win a single thing.
Nothing. Zero.
Why?
Because the label created an environment of intense, just paralyzing pressure.
Wow.
Rio Ferdinand has spoken incredibly openly about this. He actually admitted that the Golden Generation tag actively damaged their performance.
Like it got in their heads.
Completely. The expectation was so disconnected from their actual tactical cohesion that they just froze on the biggest stages.
Well, let's talk about that tactical cohesion or, the total lack of it, because it's not just that they choked, right?
No, there were real tactical issues.
There's a massive structural flaw here. I look at Gerrard and Lampard, two of the greatest goal-scoring midfielders in history, and they occupy the exact same physical space on the pitch.
They wanted to do the exact same job.
It's like trying to put two steering wheels in one car and expecting it to go twice as fast. It just doesn't work.
That is exactly the friction. The English managers of that era were terrified of dropping a superstar.
Because the media would eat them alive.
Exactly. So they forced them all onto the pitch at the same time. They pushed Paul Scholes, who is arguably the best central dictator of tempo England has ever produced, out to the left wing just to accommodate Gerrard and Lampard in the middle.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
It's tactical malpractice. They sacrificed the mechanism of a functioning team to serve the egos of the golden label.
And you have to add in the toxic club rivalries of that era, too.
Oh, the lunch tables.
Yes. Players from Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool literally refusing to sit at the same lunch tables during international duty.
It's unbelievable.
You realize that a golden generation is entirely useless if it's just a collection of warring fiefdoms.
It really is. And then, there is the cruelest enemy of all, simple biological time.
Time always wins. Let's talk about Belgium.
Right. Belgium's 2014 to 2022 squad is the perfect case study in the decay of a golden generation.
Hazard, Company, De Bruyne, Lukaku.
A phenomenal group. They hit #1 in the FIFA rankings. They were dazzling to watch.
Yeah.
They took third at the 2018 World Cup.
But they never got the big one. They never got the silver trophy.
Exactly. And by 2022, the decay was just undeniable.
Yeah.
When Kevin De Bruyne was asked by the press about their chances of winning the tournament, he didn't give like a media-trained PR answer.
He was brutally honest.
He just said, no chance, we're too old.
Wow.
11 of their 26 players were over the age of 30. The fast-twitch muscle fibers were just gone.
The recovery times take longer.
Exactly. The window had slammed shut, and they all knew it.
It's such a haunting quote. We're too old. It really makes you wonder, Is the golden generation label inherently a trap?
It often feels like one.
Like, does the expectation inevitably outpace the reality of 11 human beings just trying to kick a ball? Because I'm looking at the sources on Croatia, and they completely blow up this entire theory.
Yeah, Croatia's the great anomaly that forces us to rethink the whole premise.
Let's unpack that.
Here is a nation of fewer than 4 million people.
That's tiny.
Statistically, they shouldn't even have a deep enough talent pool to compete with a Brazil or a Germany. Yet they produce two distinct, world-beating generations.
You've got the late 90s squad, Davor Ukers, Zvonimir Boban.
Yeah, the legends.
They take bronze at the 98 World Cup, which, by the way, was their very first appearance as an independent nation.
Which is a staggering achievement on its own. And then 20 years later, they basically manufacture a second coming.
Right. Luka Modric, Ivan Rakitic, Ivan Perisic.
They go to the World Cup final in 2018. They take bronze again in 2022, and they reach the Nations League final in 2023.
How do they do it?
Well, what Croatia proves is that a deeply ingrained cultural identity can actually act as a shield against the pressure of the label.
Oh, interesting. So it's not a burden for them.
No, they don't view the expectation as a burden. They view it as a continuation of their national survival.
Wow.
Their tactical identity, which is built on this immense midfield control, extreme physical endurance, and just a flat refusal to panic, allows them to punch wildly above their demographic weight.
I want to push back on something here, though, because we are defining success by these trophies, right?
Right.
By reaching finals.
Right, the traditional metrics.
But if a generation fundamentally changes the way the entire world thinks about the game, yet fails to win the ultimate prize, are they a failure?
That's a great philosophical question.
Think about it like a brilliantly innovative tech startup.
Okay, I like this.
They create a user interface that completely changes how we interact with software, right? But their marketing is bad, they run out of runway, and they go bankrupt before an IPO.
Financially, they tanked.
Right, financially they failed. But 10 years later, every single app on your phone uses the interface they invented. Didn't they actually win the war?
That is the beautiful tragedy of the greatest teams never to win.
Yeah.
The most potent example of this in all of sports history is the Netherlands in the 1970s.
Oh, of course.
Led by Johan Cruyff on the pitch and Rinus Michels on the touchline, they didn't just play well. They literally invented total football.
The carousel.
Yes, the carousel.
Yeah.
The underlying philosophy of total football was all about the manipulation of space.
How so?
Cruyff famously understood that on a football pitch, space is time.
Space is time.
If you create space, you have time to make decisions. So the Dutch just stopped playing fixed positions.
Just completely abandon them.
Yeah, pretty much. A center back could suddenly sprint up to the center forward position, and a winger would instantly drop back to cover the defense.
That sounds like chaos.
It was fluid, geometric chaos for the opposition. They also introduced the aggressive offside trap and this relentless high press, shrinking the field when the other team had the ball.
So they choke you out when you have the ball and expand the field when they have it.
Exactly. Carlos Alberto, the captain of the legendary 1970 Brazilian team, watched the Dutch and openly admitted he had never seen anything like it.
But they reached the World Cup final in '74, and they lost to West Germany.
Yep.
They reached it again in '78, and they lost to Argentina.
The heartbreak is just immense. Or, look at Hungary's golden team in the early 1950s with Frank Puskás.
Another great example.
They invented the concept of the false nine, a striker who drops deep into midfield to drag defenders out of position.
Which every modern team uses now.
Right. They went on a 42-match unbeaten run. They hold a rating under the ELO system that literally broke the mathematical scale for relative skill at the time.
They broke the math.
Literally. No national team has ever had a higher peak rating.
And their one single defeat in that era.
Yeah.
The 1954 World Cup final against West Germany.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to answer your previous question, no, they are absolutely not failures.
Right.
You cannot watch a single modern football match today. You can't watch Pep Guardiola's Manchester City or Mikel Arteta's Arsenal without seeing the direct, undeniable DNA of Johan Cruyff's total football and Hungary's positional fluidity.
It's everywhere.
Their tactical influence is immortal, even if their trophy cabinets are missing the centerpiece.
But there are scenarios where failing to win isn't just about tactics or, bad luck.
No, unfortunately.
Sometimes the failure is born from a collision with extreme real-world darkness. And reading through the sources on Colombia's golden generation in the 1980s and 90s, it is genuinely chilling.
It is a very stark reminder that sports do not happen in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Colombia in that era was arguably the most entertaining team on the planet. They played a style known as toque-toque.
Explain the mechanism of toque-toque for us, because it sounds somewhat similar to tiki-taka, but the cultural root is completely different, isn't it?
It is entirely different. While tiki-taka is highly structured and disciplined, toque-toque was deeply rooted in South American street football.
Some more flair.
Much more. It was rhythmic, almost improvisational. Orchestrated by Carlos Valderrama in the midfield, it relied on short, incredibly quick passes that basically invited defenders in before slipping the ball past them.
Like a matador.
Exactly. It was arrogant, it was beautiful, and it was wildly effective. The absolute zenith of this generation came during the 1994 World Cup qualifiers, where they walked into Buenos Aires and dismantled Argentina 5-0.
5-0 in Argentina, that's insane.
It sent shockwaves through the sport. Pele publicly predicted Colombia would win the 1994 World Cup.
But the shatter over this team was massive.
It really was.
The beautiful improvisational football was directly funded and controlled by the Colombian drug cartels. You had cartel leaders essentially acting as shadow owners of the domestic clubs, funneling blood money into the sport to launder it, while simultaneously putting immense, terrifying pressure on the players.
The psychological toll was just unimaginable.
Yeah, I can't even fathom it.
These players were national heroes, sure, but they were receiving death threats if they didn't play certain players or if they lost a match.
Right.
They were avatars for a nation that was literally tearing itself apart through narco-terrorism. When they arrived in the United States for the 1994 World Cup, the pressure completely shattered them.
They collapsed.
They suffered a catastrophic group stage exit.
And that failure resulted in one of the absolute darkest moments in sports history: the murder of defender Andres Escobar.
Escobar scored an accidental own goal during a crucial match against the United States.
Yeah.
Just days after returning to Colombia, he was shot and killed outside a nightclub.
It's just devastating.
It is the ultimate tragic realization of the Golden Generation label turning into a literal death sentence.
Wow.
The nation's expectations, fueled by cartel violence, demanded perfection. When humanity intervened and a simple mistake was made, the consequences were fatal. It forces us to entirely reevaluate the weight we place on the shoulders of 20-something athletes.
It really does. It makes the stakes of what we are watching right now in July 2026 feel very different.
Absolutely.
Because we are currently in the thick of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, hosted across North America.
It's been an incredible tournament so far.
And what is so thrilling is that we are watching a complete disruption of the old world order. Entirely new golden generations are actively taking a sledgehammer to the traditional power structures of international football.
The landscape is shifting violently. Let's start with Canada.
Yes, let's talk about Canada.
Historically, Canada has been an afterthought in men's football.
Barely a blip on the radar.
But look at their 2026 run. They are led by Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David, players who possess elite European pedigree.
Right.
They open with a 1-1 draw against Bosnia, securing their first ever point at a World Cup.
Huge milestone.
And then they unleash a performance against Qatar that is, frankly, statistically bizarre. A 6-0 victory.
Okay, I want to stop and look at the math on that Qatar game.
It's staggering.
The tactical breakdowns show that Canada registered 97 touches inside the Qatari penalty box.
Unbelievable.
To put that into context for anyone listening, the previous World Cup record was set by Germany in 2022 with 71 touches.
Right.
97 touches inside the box against a low block defense is mind-bending.
Let's explain the mechanics of why that is so difficult to achieve.
Please do.
When a team like Qatar plays a low block, they essentially pack all 11 players within 30 yards of their own goal.
It's a wall.
There is zero space. To get 97 touches in that densely packed area means Canada's rest defense, their positioning when they have the ball, was so perfect that every time Qatar tried to clear it, a Canadian player immediately intercepted it and pushed it right back into the box.
So Qatar couldn't even get out of their own half.
Exactly. It is a level of suffocating, relentless pressure that you normally only see from a prime Manchester City squad. They didn't just beat Qatar, they pinned them against the wall and didn't let them breathe for 90 minutes. They advanced to the round of 32, beat South Africa, and finished 14th overall.
That's huge.
For Canada, that is a seismic paradigm shift.
Then you look across the bracket at Norway.
Oh, Norway.
A country that spent 2 decades failing to even qualify for the Euros, let alone the World Cup. But in 2026, they're wielding arguably the most devastating blunt instrument in global sports. Erling Haaland.
He is a force of nature.
Supported by the surgical precision of Martin Ødegaard.
Haaland really represents a terrifying evolution in biomechanics.
How do you mean?
He is built like a traditional target man. Huge, powerful, capable of pinning center backs. But he possesses the top-end sprint speed of a winger and the spatial awareness of a poacher.
It's an unfair combination.
Completely. In 2026, he scores twice against Iraq in a 4-1 win. They beat Senegal, they win their first ever knockout match against Ivory Coast, and then they step onto the pitch against Brazil in the round of 16.
And this is a stat that completely melts my brain.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Going into that match, Norway had played Brazil 5 times in their entire history. 3 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses.
It's one of the weirdest stats in sports.
Brazil, the 5-time world champions, the undisputed kings of the sport, have literally never figured out how to beat Norway.
It defines every traditional metric of footballing hierarchy, but it highlights how a specific tactical golden generation built on extreme physical resilience and lethal transition speeds can act as absolute kryptonite to a specific style of play.
And speaking of shifting hierarchies, we have to look at the United States.
Big shifts there.
In 2018, they suffered the ultimate humiliation of failing to qualify.
It was a disaster.
But that failure essentially detonated their entire system and birthed a new era. Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Weston McKennie.
The new wave.
And now, under Mauricio Pochettino in 2026, we see the results. They dropped 4 goals on Paraguay, they beat Australia 2-0, winning multiple group games for the first time since 1930, and they advanced to the round of 32 to beat Bosnia.
A really strong showing.
But here's my question for you. When we look at Canada, Norway, and the US, these aren't the organic street football golden generations of 1970s Brazil or 1990s Colombia.
No, they're not.
Are we witnessing the complete clinical democratization of talent? Like, is it just a manufacturing pipeline now?
You've hit the nail on the head. We are definitely moving from organic discovery to industrial manufacturing.
Manufacturing players.
Yeah. Modern football federations have looked at the data and realized they don't need to wait for a lucky crop of kids to be born in the same neighborhood. They can build them.
Ow!
Look at the blueprint the U.S. used. The U.S. Hockey National Team Development Program was founded in 1996, eventually centralized talent, and systematically produced the cohort that just won the 2026 Winter Olympic Gold.
Oh, wow, the parallel is right there.
The U.S. Soccer Federation adopted a similar philosophy. Centralize the best youth, eliminate all the chaotic variables, drill them in modern tactical systems from age 10, and export them to European academies as fast as humanly possible.
But I'd push back on that a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
Can you actually manufacture a Messi or a Ronaldo in a sterile corporate academy?
That's the million-dollar question.
Doesn't generational reality-bending talent require some level of chaos? If you put a 10-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo into a highly sanitized, tactical U.S. academy, do they coach the stepovers and the arrogance right out of him?
They might try.
Do they turn a singular genius into just another efficient cog in the machine midfielder?
That is the existential dread of modern scouting. Right there. Academies are incredible at raising the floor of a national team.
Making sure everyone is good.
Right. They ensure every player is tactically literate, ambidextrous, and physically elite. But you are absolutely right. The highly structured environment can inadvertently lower the ceiling.
They kill the creativity.
They actively discourage the kind of selfish, improvisational risk-taking that creates a Neymar or a Ronaldinho. You create a team of perfect soldiers, but you might miss out on the wizard.
Which is the perfect transition.
Oh, here we go.
Because what happens when a system is completely bypassed by a single, terrifyingly obsessed individual?
Yeah. A player so massive in scale that he warps the entire pipeline of his nation. That brings us to Group K of the 2026 World Cup and the twilight of Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo.
To understand the sheer gravity of Ronaldo in 2026, you have to realize that he has literally bridged 2 distinct eras of Portuguese football history.
Because he's been around for so long.
Exactly. We talked about their original golden generation earlier, Luis Figo, Rui Costa.
Right.
They won those youth titles, but they couldn't convert it at the senior level. Euro 2000, they fell short. At Euro 2004, held in their home country, they reached the final and suffered a devastating loss to Greece.
And a 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo was on that pitch in 2004 crying alongside Luis Figo. Exactly. He absorbed that trauma. He then became the bridge.
Yeah.
As the Figo generation retired, Ronaldo carried an incredibly average Portuguese national team on his back through his prime years. And through sheer force of will, he pulled an entirely newer, younger generation to glory at Euro 2016.
Winning Portugal's first major international trophy.
Right. He is a living artifact that spans 20 years of national identity.
Which brings us to the messy, complicated reality of 2026.
It's very messy.
Portugal is in Group K. They open with a 1-1 draw against DR Congo. And the tactical data from that game is startling. Portugal completes 724 passes.
That is their highest ever recorded in a World Cup match.
They are dominating possession. They're controlling the geometry of the pitch, but they lack the cutting edge.
Yeah.
And then it all falls apart in the round of 16 against Spain. They suffer a 1-0 loss via stoppage time goal from Mikel Merino.
A heartbreaker.
And the fallout from this game entirely centers on the manager, Roberto Martinez, and his decision to play a 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo for all 90 minutes.
The debate here cuts to the absolute core of how we manage aging greatness.
It really does.
When you read Martinez's post-match press conferences and his tactical rationale, you see a manager trapped between two eras.
How does he justify it?
Well, Martinez defended playing Ronaldo by pointing to his aura.
His aura.
Yes, his aura. He argued that even at 41, Ronaldo's mere presence distorts the opposition's defensive line. Center backs are so terrified of his movement in the box that they double-team him.
Which mathematically opens up space for other players.
Exactly. It frees up space for players like Bruno Fernandes or Bernardo Silva. Martinez also pointed to dead ball situations, corners, and free kicks, where Ronaldo's spatial awareness and aerial ability are still undeniably elite.
But let's pause there, because the critics are looking at the exact same game and screaming about modern tactical intensity.
And they have a valid point.
Modern elite football is built on the high press. It requires all 11 players, especially the center forward, to initiate defensive triggers.
Right.
If the center back gets the ball, the striker has to sprint at him instantly to force an error. At 41 years old, Ronaldo physically cannot do that for 90 minutes.
The body just won't allow it.
Think about it like a high-performance sports car engine. It's not that the engine can't still hit 200 miles per hour if you put it on a straight track. The top speed is there. The problem is the cooling system.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to put it.
In modern football, you don't need to hit 200 miles per hour once. You need to hit 150 miles per hour 40 different times, changing directions constantly over 10 minutes. His engine physically cannot cool down fast enough for that repeated sprint load.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
The chassis is pristine, but the recovery interval is just gone.
Exactly.
And that creates immense tactical friction for the team. If your center forward cannot press, the entire defensive structure collapses.
Because everyone else has to compensate.
Right. The midfield has to push higher to cover his lack of running, which leaves massive gaps behind them, which Spain ruthlessly exploited.
It's a domino effect.
It is. The critics looked at Portugal's bench, packed with younger, faster forwards like Gonçalo Ramos or Rafael Leão, and asked, why are we sacrificing the systematic function of the team to accommodate a static legend?
Do you build the team to serve the legend, or do you bench the legend to serve the tactical system?
It's an impossible dilemma for any coach.
But to really understand why a manager would risk his entire career to trust a 41-year-old, and frankly, to understand how a human being scores 976 career goals, we have to look under the hood.
We have to dive into his mind.
We have to dive deep into the psychology of the CR7 mentality.
Because the Cristiano Ronaldo we see today, the ruthless, hyper-efficient goal-scoring machine, is not the player he was born as.
He wasn't.
Not at all. When he arrived at Manchester United in 2003 as a teenager, he was heavily criticized.
Really?
Oh, Sir Alex Ferguson and his teammates were constantly frustrated by his excessive dribbling. He would do 5 step-overs when a simple pass was available.
Showing off.
Yeah, he was a flashy, lightweight winger who cared more about humiliating the fullback than actually scoring goals.
Yeah.
He was not born a positional genius. He actively, aggressively engineered himself into one.
And this is where the sports psychologists bring in the work of Carol Dweck and the growth mindset. The idea that intelligence, talent, and physical ability are just starting points, and that true mastery comes from an almost psychotic dedication to adaptation.
Ronaldo is the apex predator of the growth mindset. As he aged, he realized that relying on pure pace and step-overs on the wing was a depreciating asset.
Because speed fades.
Right. So he re-engineered his biomechanics. He fundamentally transformed his body to become a central, predatory striker.
The details on this transformation are incredible.
Really are.
We aren't just talking about, doing extra sit-ups. He fundamentally altered how his body operates. He adopted polyphasic sleep cycles.
Which is wild to think about.
Right, sleeping in 5 90-minute intervals throughout the day rather than 1 8-hour block, just to optimize human growth hormone release and muscle recovery.
His entire life is a protocol.
He altered his running gait to reduce the impact load on his knees as he lost his cartilage over 2 decades.
Wow.
He transformed his fast-twitch muscle fibers, trading top-end sprinting speed for explosive vertical leaping ability.
Just score those headers. years.
Exactly. That's how, even in his mid-30s, he was recording vertical leaps that rivaled NBA players, creating that signature hang time in the box. He turned his body into a bespoke machine designed for one singular purpose: scoring goals inside the penalty area.
And we always have this endless debate in sports and art, right? Natural talent versus hard work.
A classic debate.
You hear people say Messi was given a gift by God and Ronaldo had to build his in a gym.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
But looking at this psychological profile, I have to wonder, was Ronaldo's true underlying natural talent actually his sheer unyielding obsession?
That's a profound thought.
Like the obsession itself was the genetic mutation. Most humans physically cannot sustain that level of monastic discipline for 22 years. The brain rejects it, but his brain demanded it.
Discipline is the talent. I love that. But psychologists also warn us about the extreme dark side of this existence, don't they?
They absolutely do.
When your entire identity, your daily routine, your diet, your sleep, and your global self-worth are entirely tethered to one thing: athletic dominance. What happens when biology finally taps you on the shoulder?
It's terrifying for an athlete.
It breeds a profound existential fear of decline. It creates a complete inability to accept the natural aging process.
Which makes his reaction to that 2026 elimination against Spain so utterly fascinating.
Right, because you'd expect tears.
You'd expect rage. You'd expect him to throw his captain's armband on the ground like he's done in the past.
We've seen it before.
But the analysts noted that his reaction was almost entirely emotionless. It was just a stoic, blank acceptance.
It was the moment the software finally accepted the hardware was obsolete.
That's beautifully put.
Imagine being at the absolute pinnacle of your field for 2 decades.
Yeah.
You are the senior partner at the law firm, you are the lead surgeon, you are the top sales rep. You have built an empire on being untouchable.
Yeah.
And then one day you look across the room and a 22-year-old is just processing the information faster than you.
They don't have your wisdom.
Right. They don't have your experience, but their sheer processing speed makes your wisdom irrelevant. Recognizing that moment, admitting that time has stopped you, requires a monumental, terrifying psychological shift. Who are we when the thing that made us special disappears?
And for Ronaldo, that thing didn't just make him special on a football pitch. It shifted the tectonic plates of global sociology.
We have to talk about the global phenomenon of the Messi-Ronaldo era.
We do.
Because this obsession didn't just rewrite goal-scoring records, it completely rewired how humanity consumes sports.
It is a clear demarcation line in sports history.
Before and after.
Exactly. Before Ronaldo, elite football players were incredibly famous athletes. Think of David Beckham or Brazilian Ronaldo.
Sold shirts, they did Pepsi commercials.
Right. But Cristiano Ronaldo was the vanguard of a new reality. The athlete as a sovereign global entertainment corporation.
The sociologists point to social identity theory here, and this concept completely changed how I view modern fandom.
It's a fascinating theory.
The idea is that fans no longer just support a team or enjoy watching a player. They use the player to construct their own tribal identity.
Exactly. Social identity theory posits that human beings build their sense of self based on their group memberships.
Okay.
For tens of millions of people around the globe, they don't support Manchester United or Real Madrid or Juventus. They belong to the Ronaldo community.
It's bigger than the club.
Much bigger. Wearing his CR7 branded underwear, defending his statistics fiercely in online forums, adopting his exact workout routines, mimicking his CU NAFA celebration when they score a goal in a Sunday league game. It becomes a core pillar of who they are as people.
Wow.
You have children in rural villages and countries Ronaldo has never even flown over, and they are emotionally tethered to his success. He bypassed the concept of a sports team and became a monolithic tribal identity.
Look at his move to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia in 2023.
That's the perfect example.
This is the ultimate proof of his gravity. He didn't just transfer to a new club. He took the global conversation of the world's most popular sport, put it in his suitcase, and dragged it to the Middle East.
He legitimized an entire league overnight.
Dozens of elite European stars followed him in the subsequent windows, not just for the money, but because Ronaldo validated the league.
His mere presence creates a reality distortion field.
It really does. And it makes you ask, can the sport ever go back? Can football ever return to being about local city pride, the working class connection to the local club, or has the athlete brand permanently conquered the sport?
The blueprint is permanently inked. Future generations of athletes are inheriting a landscape entirely shaped by Ronaldo's off-pitch business acumen.
They all want to be him.
Look at Kylian Mbappe or Jude Bellingham or Vinicius Jr. They don't just want to win the Champions League. They want the production company, the equity stakes in fashion brands, the hundreds of millions of Instagram followers.
They want the empire.
Exactly. Ronaldo proved that an athlete can be bigger than the club that employs them. But amidst all this talk of brand building and individual obsession, we have to myth bust a major narrative.
The idea that he was inherently selfish,
Yes.
that he only cared about his personal goal tally and his brand at the expense of his teammates.
Right. It's a very common criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the tactical and historical data, those individual obsessions directly subsidize his team's success.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes, he wanted every record for himself. But his relentless, borderline psychotic drive for personal perfection is exactly the mechanism that dragged an otherwise mediocre Portuguese squad to the Euro 2016 trophy.
So the yelling at his teammates wasn't just ego.
When he was screaming at his teammates for not passing him the ball, he was simultaneously elevating their standards. You cannot easily untangle the selfish drive for immortality from the collective trophies it delivers.
Which brings us to the final ledger.
The end of the road.
As the dust settles on the 2026 World Cup, as Roberto Martinez hands in his resignation, we have to assess the final chapter of football's modern golden age. Following that elimination against Spain, Ronaldo summed up 22 years of blood, sweat, and obsession in just 7 words.
What did he say?
He said, "I live with a clear conscience."
Wow. 7 words to encapsulate a career that defies comprehension.
It's heavy.
Let's look at the raw data of that conscience. He scored in 6 different FIFA World Cups.
6.
No other male human being on the planet has ever done that. 5 Champions League titles, 5 Ballon d'Or awards. He maintained a standard of prolific, elite-level scoring across 2 completely distinct decades of tactical evolution in the sport.
He survived it all.
He outlasted managers, he outlasted tactical systems, he outlasted his own peers.
And there is always a but in sports mythology.
Oh.
There is the lingering, inescapable narrative, the World Cup. The silver trophy remained the one prize that stayed permanently beyond his reach. And history has a very cruel, reductive habit of judging its absolute legends through that specific narrow lens.
It is the ultimate metric of footballing immortality. Pele has 3. Maradona dragged Argentina to 1 in 86.
Yeah.
And the defining narrative of Ronaldo's life is his rivalry with Lionel Messi. For 15 years, they pushed each other to alien heights.
They needed each other.
They did. But in 2022, Messi got his World Cup. He basically completed football. Ronaldo leaves empty-handed in that specific column. And that dichotomy will fuel debates for the next century.
And it leaves an impossible, suffocating challenge for the next generation. The media is already asking who is the next Ronaldo, who replaces him.
But you don't replace a tectonic plate.
Right.
The real question the sport is facing is, how does a young player today ever feel like they've achieved greatness? The baseline has been completely warped.
What do you mean by warped?
If greatness used to mean scoring 300 goals and winning a few titles, Ronaldo and Messi redefined it. Now, to be in the conversation, you need to score 900 goals, maintain perfect physical condition for 20 years without serious injury, and never have an off-season.
It's just impossible.
The standard for perfection has been pushed to a level that is essentially abusive to the human body and mind.
I want to bring this right back to you, the listener, because it's easy to look at this as just a story about a billionaire athlete kicking a ball.
It's much deeper than that.
Why should you care about Cristiano Ronaldo's final game if you aren't a sports fan? You should care because his story is the most extreme, amplified version of a reality we all eventually face.
The inevitable decline.
Exactly. We all have to confront the prospect of moving past our peak. Maybe it's in your career, when you realize the new technology is passing you by. Maybe it's in your physical hobbies, when your knees can no longer handle the weekend marathon.
Yeah.
Time is the one undefeated opponent in the human experience. So what can we take away from Ronaldo's journey?
The most profound lesson of Cristiano Ronaldo's career has absolutely nothing to do with the goals or the branded underwear. It is an absolute masterclass in human adaptation.
Adaptation.
He proved that an individual can continuously, aggressively reinvent themselves. When he lost his speed, he learned to jump. When he lost his stamina, he learned to rely on spatial intelligence.
Yeah, evolve.
He used sheer, unrelenting willpower to cheat time for as long as biologically possible. Yes, time always wins in the end. The calendar always catches you. But the dignity, the true measure of a person, is found in the ferocity of the fight against it.
The dignity is in the fight. I absolutely love that. Well, we want to thank you for joining us on this massive deep dive. We've waded through the incredible highs and the fatal lows of golden generations, from the geometric brilliance of the 1970s Dutch to the devastating tragedy of 1990s Colombia.
It's been a journey.
We've mapped out the thrilling, manufactured New World Order of the 2026 World Cup, and we've unpacked the monumental, fiercely complicated legacy of Cristiano Ronaldo.
It has been a brilliant exploration into the intersection of extreme pressure, tactical evolution, and the limits of human psychology.
But before we let you go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over on your commute or while you're walking the dog.
I'll hear it.
We've spent a lot of time dissecting that CR7 mentality, the growth mindset, the monastic discipline, the total obsession with perfection.
Right.
If extreme isolation and relentless obsession are the absolute non-negotiable requirements to reach the absolute pinnacle of human performance, does achieving that level of individual perfection fundamentally isolate you from the very people you are trying to lead?
Wow.
Can you truly be a god among men and still be one of the boys in the locker room? Think about it. Thanks for diving deep with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.